Ya, selamat pagi Bapak Ibu. Terima kasih atas kehadirannya pada webinar Nintex Form Essential. Saya Vini akan menemani Bapak Ibu hingga 1 jam ke depan. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are pleased to have you here at Nintex Form Essential webinar. I'm Vini. I will accompany you for the next 1 hour. In this webinar will be conducted bilingual Indonesia and English, so please use Indonesia or English comfortably when asking in our chat box. Dalam webinar kali ini, kita akan menggunakan dua bahasa, Indonesia dan Inggris. Jadi Bapak Ibu dapat bertanya dengan salah satu bahasa pada kolom chat. Also, please welcome Mr. Andi and Mr. Ranjit today. Hi. And also we have Mr. Ferdinand and Miss Kelly. Today we will discuss about digital form. Hari ini telah bergabung juga dengan kita para pembicara untuk berdiskusi bersama mengenai digital form. Our first agenda today, can you please next?
Ya, udah.
Okay. Our agenda today will be divided into 3 parts. The first one is why company need digital form, and then text form best practice, and then Q&A. Untuk agenda kita pada hari ini akan ada 3 bagian. Jadi, mengapa perusahaan membutuhkan digital form, kemudian best practice dari digital form ini apa, kemudian sesi tanya jawab. Nah, untuk agenda pertama, saya persilakan Bapak Andi selaku Regional Sales Director Asia Nintex. Kepada Bapak Andi, waktu dan tempat saya persilakan.
Oke, thank you Vini dan MI Team juga yang udah mempersiapkan webinar ini dengan sungguh-sungguh dan persiapannya mantap banget. Pertama-tama mungkin saya mau kenalin dulu siapa itu Nintex, who is Nintex ya. Our mission is to improve the way people work through process management and automations. Kita ada di headquarternya di Bellevue, tapi founded in Australia 2006. Kita punya kira-kira 10.000 plus customer di dunia ini, tapi mantra kita adalah easy to use, powerful, and complete at the same time. Jadi three combination itu nggak gampang untuk dicapai dalam satu produk, karena biasanya easy to use tapi nggak powerful. Yang biasanya powerful nggak mungkin easy to use gitu. Dan banyak company juga yang nggak punya produk-produk seperti Nintex ini. Nintex ini kita punya banyak sekali produk yang nanti saya jelaskan di slide berikutnya. Nah ini, Nintex kita founded di Australia 2006, sampai sekarang kita kira-kira acquire 6 company. Jadi kita bisa lihat, 2015 kita acquire 1 company, udah gitu kita acquire ProMap, udah gitu Foxtrot RPA, udah gitu K2 Software, Azure Sign, ini digital signature, dan yang terakhir yang menjadi hot topic beberapa bulan yang lalu, ya ini kan Maret baru bulan lalu ini, Crayon RPA kita acquire juga gitu. Dan kenapa kita punya banyak produk seperti ini, kita mau menjadi company yang sangat komplit. Nah sekarang ARR kita sekitar 250 million, tetapi vision kita dalam 4 tahun ke depan kita mau menjadi company yang 1 billion company. Oke. Nah, produk yang list yang ada itu kita ada ProMap, ada Form, ada Workflow, ada RPA, ada DocGen, ada Nintex Sign, ada Analytics, dan juga kita juga punya banyak sekali connector yang extension yang bisa bilangnya integrate dengan platform-platform yang lain yang nanti saya akan jelaskan. Nah, kenapa Nintex punya mantra seperti ini, easy, powerful, and complete at the same time? Supaya bisnis user itu bisa memakai tools ini. Nggak cuma IT doang. Jadi di dalam dunia ini problemnya, di dunia itu biasanya IT departemen itu cuma sangat kecil. Misalnya company 1.000 orang, IT people-nya paling 10 orang. Nah, jadi gimana caranya supaya kita enable power user yang business user di HR, di finance, di berbagai departemen bisa memakai produk ini dengan gampang gitu ya. Jadi mereka bisa sangat-sangat mandiri. Oke. Nah, Nintex produk strategi. Kenapa Nintex mengadop sebegitu banyak produk? Karena kita punya proses mapping. Jadi whatever business process that you want to start automate, you start with mapping first. Jadi mapping and manage itu sangat-sangat penting sehingga kita bisa tahu prosesnya ada berapa sih. Kadang-kadang CIO aja nggak tahu gitu prosesnya itu di satu company itu ada berapa aja gitu. Kadang-kadang nggak tahu. Kadang-kadang proses owner-nya aja tuh nggak tahu gitu, siapa aja yang terlibat gitu, nggak ada dokumentasi yang benar-benar bagus gitu kan. Nah sedangkan, kalau pakai proses mapping kita bisa tahu semua prosesnya dan kemudian step 2 adalah kita meng-automate proses-proses tersebut dan kenapa kita punya 3 automation, tools karena kita percaya kalau proses nggak semua bisa di-automate dengan RPA, nggak semua bisa di-automate dengan workflow gitu. Jadi ada bagian masing-masing, ya kan. Nah, 3 ini bisa menjadi, apa ya, saling saling passing each other gitu the process ya. Misalnya saya kasih contoh HR onboarding ya. Dan pertama misalnya HR-nya onboarding-nya misalnya ada rekrutmen, interview mesti, apa ya, 100 interview, tapi yang apply job mungkin 1.000 ya. Nah, kalau 1.000 mindahin data dari, Excel ke HR application gitu ya, mungkin nggak gampang kalau misalnya dilakukan oleh manusia gitu ya. Jadi, kita kasih robot yang lakuin. Dan, masalah approval dari proses step 1 sampai step 13 misalnya, itu pakai, workflow automation dan kemudian sampai ujungnya misalnya untuk, generate kontrak ke, apa ya, kandidat ya yang udah terpilih gitu kita pakai document automation. Jadi 3 automation itu bisa saling saling, panggil-memanggil dan saling bekerja sama dan kemudian membuahkan result yang sangat-sangat, cepat, sangat-sangat efisien, oke. Dan yang ketiga adalah proses, optimizations yang di mana kita bisa setelah kita automate, maka kita mau analyze and optimize lagi, kemudian kita kalau misalnya perlu untuk remap the process, maka kita bisa me-remap the process itu dan kembali, berulang-ulang terus gitu. Jadi, prosesnya setiap hari makin sangat simpel dan makin efisien gitu. Di situ kita membantu, company-company untuk, ber-digital transformation. Dan kemudian yang terakhir saya mau jelaskan adalah connector. Kita punya connector yang namanya extensions, di mana kita sekarang punya 100 plus extension yang logo-logo ini yang di kiri dan kanan di sekitar itu. Nah itu, produk-produk yang bisa mengintegrate dengan Nintex Workflow Cloud itu, ya. Nah jadi nggak memungkinkan kalau misalnya CRM-nya pakai Salesforce dan, misalnya, apa ya, collaboration tools-nya pakai Slack misalnya atau Teams ya, terus udah gitu pakai, storage-nya di Dropbox, dan kemudian, di digital signature-nya mungkin pakai, Nintex Sign gitu, kira-kira gitu. Nah, jadi kita bisa mengkolaborasi. Kalau misalnya pakai, program yang ada di sini, nggak dicantumin di sini, maka, bisa kita buat custom extension, itu sangat-sangat mudah. Oke. Nah, hari ini kan Vini ya, kita kan ngomongin masalah form ya. Nah, jadi kita bakal mengerucut ke, bincang-bincang kita. Saya bakal ngomong-ngomong sama Vini, masalah kenapa company need digital forms, itu topiknya yang hari ini. Dan kita nanti bakal demonya juga sekitar form semua. Kita nggak demoin satu end-to-end platform, kalau misalnya nanti, ada yang tertarik gitu ya, mau mau demoin apa gitu, NWC atau RPA, bisa aja, chat ke kita, nanti kita bisa ngadain webinar semacam ini, atau nanti kita bisa adain lagi untuk private lah, one on one dengan organisasi Bapak Ibu sekalian, gitu. Nah, saya ngomongin teori dulu nih ya, Vin ya, teori. Why, company need digital form, ya. Nomor satu, remote access itu jadi terbantu ya. Yang kedua adalah, saving time and cost. Mungkin Bapak-bapak, Ibu, sekalian, bisa bilang, "Wah, teori ya," gitu. Tapi nanti saya bakal tanya Vini, apa contoh-contohnya gitu. Yang ketiga, minimizing error. Ini, jelas sekali karena human error kadang-kadang nggak bisa disangkalin ya, bisa-bisa I jadi satu gitu kan, jadi L jadi I ya kan, suka gitu ya. Nomor gitu suka pencet karena keyboard-nya kan, dekat gitu kan, angka 7 sama 8 dekat, jadi kayak suka-suka kepencet gitu, atau 8-nya suka bisa 8 2 kali ya, gitu. Nah, kemudian, instant tracking. Jadi, ada semacam, tracking dan kalau bisa di-tracking maka bisa di-measure gitu ya. Nah, kemudian ini kita bisa menjadi, lebih efisien. Dan kelima adalah environment friendly. Oke. Nah, mungkin, Vini bisa share screen, saya mau ngobrol-ngobrol sama Vini. Oke,
Oke,
Vin.
sebelum
Kalau oke, share screen dulu ya.
Untuk layar saya sudah terlihat.
Siap, yang remote access ya. Nah, oke, kita mau ngobrol sekitar remote access. Walaupun yang host-nya Vini, tapi saya terbalik nih. Saya yang nanya Vini malah.
Ya,
Nggak
nggak
apa ya, Vini?
apa-apa.
Karena Vini tinggalnya di Indonesia, jadi makanya, di Indonesia kan, apa ya, lebih lebih menarik ceritanya di Indonesia daripada cerita di luar negeri, karena saya kan tinggalnya di Singapura gitu kan. Jadi mungkin nggak applicable untuk teman-teman sekalian yang di Indonesia, ya kan. Nah, kalau menurut Vini ya, remote access itu, manfaatnya apa kalau pakai pakai digital form?
Oke,
Ada
mhm.
contoh-contoh nggak? Mungkin kasih contoh ya, yang story yang di mana form itu bisa bermanfaat sekali di remote access.
Oke. Jadi, seperti yang kita tahu sebelum pandemi, biasanya pekerja yang lapangan seperti misalnya konsultan implementasi atau sales itu lebih banyak bekerja di luar kantor. Nah, dengan adanya digital form, user-user ini sudah banyak, terbantu untuk membuat laporan mengenai pekerjaan mereka kepada atasannya. Nah, setelah pandemi, semakin banyak user yang bekerja di luar kantor. Jadi, sebelumnya kita belajar dan bekerja dari sekolah atau dari kantor, sekarang semua dilakukan dari rumah. Nah, dengan bantuan digital form ini, yang dapat diakses dari mana saja, maka pekerjaan bisa dilakukan dimanapun selama ada koneksi internet. Nah, kurang lebih seperti ini sih untuk fungsi pertama dari digital form, yaitu remote access.
Oke, emang sih,
Mhm.
dunia ini berubah sekali ya zaman sekarang. Yang menjadikan digital transformation driver adalah COVID-19 ternyata, bukannya CIO. Oke, sekarang topik kedua ya, saving cost and time. Bisa nggak Vini tolong ceritalah, saya yakin teman-teman sekalian kan pada pada suka diceritain ya gitu. Jadi daripada yang berat-berat topiknya mendingan Vini cerita-cerita aja gitu, ya. Oke, saving time and cost, apa
Oke.
kira-kira?
Nah, kalau ini kita ambil contoh dari tim marketing kita sih. Nah, jadi biasanya ketika dikerjakan manual atau dengan menggunakan kertas atau dengan email, diperlukan waktu untuk melakukan rekap dan penginputan ke sistem lagi. Nah, sebagai contoh untuk registrasi webinar hari ini, para peserta sudah mengisi digital form untuk melakukan registrasi webinar. Nah, sekitar 4 tahun lalu, sebelum kita menggunakan form, kita menggunakan email. Jadi kita blast kalau misalnya kita ada webinar, nah kemudian peserta mendaftar dengan cara mereply emailnya dan tim marketing akan merekap email yang masuk. Nah, tentu saja hal ini akan menghemat waktu. Sebelumnya pekerjaan itu, contohnya yang webinar ini kita hanya bisa menghandle 1 minggu satu. Nah, sekarang kita bisa menghandle 5 event dalam 1 minggu. Jadi kita juga memberikan Bapak Ibu lebih banyak pilihan untuk update teknologi dalam 1 minggu ini. Nah, kurang lebih ini sih untuk yang saving time dan cost.
Saya mau tambahin cerita boleh ya, Vini ya?
Iya, boleh.
Suatu saat saya kira-kira mungkin 4 tahun yang lalu saya datang ke kantornya CIO salah satu telco company di Indonesia. Saya nggak usah sebut, nama company-nya lah. Nah, saya masuk ke ruangannya, ruangannya tuh gede bangsa, berapa, 8 meter kira-kira ya, ruangannya dari tembok ke tembok gitu. Nah, tetapi di ujung sana ada di ujung sebelah sebelah dekat jendela itu ada 3 meja, yang 3 meja, satu mejanya mungkin 1,5 meter gitu, 3 meja. Itu isinya tumpukan kertas yang segini-segini, tumpukan gitu ya, banyak banget kertasnya. Terus kan saya otomatis nanya, saya orangnya suka penasaran gitu kan, "Pak, ini di kantor CIO kan Bapak CIO ya, kenapa ada kertas di situ? Apakah itu storage ya?" Gitu. "Oh enggak," dia bilang, "itu adalah, dokumen-dokumen yang musti saya tanda tangan." "Ya ampun, masa segitu banyak Pak?" Gitu. "Lah iya, karena kita masih ada paper, jadi ditransport dari building ke building itu juga dari lantai ke lantai, itu pakai gerobaknya supermarket," gitu kira-kira gitu ya. Jadi kok, loh, itu sangat-sangat ya time wasting menurut saya. Iya, makanya mereka mau, start adain, inisiatif untuk memakai Nintex Form waktu itu gitu, awal-awal. Dan sekarang mereka udah pakai Nintex Form, ya kan, kira-kira gitu. Sorry saya nambahin satu cerita ya, nggak apa-apa ya?
Iya, nggak apa-apa.
Oke, saya lanjut ke yang ketiga, minimizing error. Itu gimana kira-kira cerita-cerita dari Vini?
Ya, jadi kalau waktu kita mencatat transaksi di kertas
Ya,
atau merekap manual, itu tidak ada bantuan untuk validasi data yang kita input. Nah, ketika kita menggunakan form, kita bisa memasukkan variabel dan perhitungan untuk membantu meminimalkan kesalahan penginputan.
oke. Terus ada ya yang keempat, instant tracking.
Selanjutnya untuk yang instant tracking, kalau misalnya kita melakukan penginputan atau proses transaksi manual, kita suka tanya, oh ini prosesnya udah sampai mana, ini prosesnya udah sampai mana. Nah itu cukup memperlambat kinerja dari karyawan karena mereka nggak tahu siapa yang harus di follow up. Nah, dengan adanya digital form yang bisa dikombinasikan dengan workflow, maka kita bisa tahu sampai tahap mana proses berjalan. Nah, misalkan untuk pengajuan klaim, kita bisa tahu apakah sedang diproses verifikasi atau dia sudah menunggu proses untuk pembayaran. Jadi mempermudah juga untuk tracking di mana kira-kira suatu proses itu terjadi bottleneck.
Iya, ini sangat penting banget terutama bagi company-company yang, customer-nya banyak ya. Biasanya kalau customer-nya banyak, mungkin tracking misalnya installation apa gitu yang customer suka telepon, "Ini kapan Pak kira-kira, kejadiannya?" Gitu ya. "Masa saya udah nunggu seminggu terus nggak nongol-nongol orangnya," kan, kira-kira kayak gitu. Terus ya kalau ada instant tracking yang seperti ini, maka, sangat-sangat efisien gitu. Kalau bisa sebelum customer-nya telepon, kita udah tahu duluan itu, oh sebenarnya ini ada problem gitu, ya kan. Daripada mesti customer yang marah-marah dulu, dimarahin dulu baru kita kerjain, mendingan kita, bisa periksa, bisa tracking, bisa ada dashboard-nya, yang proses yang mana yang delay, proses yang mana yang segala macam lah gitu ya, yang ada error-nya gitu kan, kita bisa track ya kan. Oke oke, ke selanjutnya environment friendly. Nah, ini
Nah,
juga menyambung cerita saya yang tadi gitu, kalau misalnya, si Pak CIO yang tadi itu punya paper yang stack gitu ya, dia bilang 10.000 paper yang musti dia dia print itu dalam 1 bulan 10.000 paper. Itu kan lumayan banyak gitu menurut saya gitu, yang perlu dia tanda tangan. Itu baru dia loh ya, bukannya yang lain-lain director-director, VP segala macam itu that's another another, problem gitu. Oke, silakan Vini. Oh, kameranya nggak jalan? Vini, are you there? Maybe while we waiting for Winnie, I think I can hand it over directly to Ranjit to talk about our next topic, which is the best practice. Oh, Winnie udah online lagi?
iya sudah sih,
Oke.
sudah terlihat layarnya.
Ya, sip. Sorry Ranjit. So Winnie
Yeah,
already online now.
no worries.
Give me 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Oke, jadi ini kan tadi kita sudah bahas ya 5 apa sih 5 manfaat menggunakan digital form. Nah, ini saya akan kasih lihat sekilas, ini contohnya, apa yang bisa kita lakukan dengan Nintex Form. Jadi di sini contohnya misalnya health claim request, jadi klaim kesehatan. Nah, di sini kita bisa masukkan data-data karyawan yang mau klaim. Nah, kemudian kalau seandainya kita menggunakan kertas manual, maka kolom-kolom ini semuanya harus ditampilkan di dalam kertas. Nah, kalau menggunakan form, kita bisa tambahkan variabel untuk validasi seperti ini. Jadi misalnya kalau karyawannya itu rawat jalan, dia tuh cukup memasukkan bilnya. Nah, jadi dia bisa pilih ini dokter umum atau dokter gigi, kemudian bisa dimasukkan. Misalnya di sini ada servis untuk dokternya, misalnya 230.000. Nah, ini kita bisa bantu juga untuk perhitungannya. Nah, kalau misalnya ada obat lagi, misalnya obatnya ternyata untuk 3 hari. Nah, masing-masing obatnya itu 15.000 misalnya. Nah, ini kita bisa bantu juga perhitungan dalam form, kemudian bisa langsung kita hitung untuk subtotalnya. Nah, kalau misalnya butuh di-upload juga untuk attachment, itu juga bisa di dalam form. Jadi ini langsung jadi satu kesatuan. Nah, ini salah satu contoh untuk meminimalisir error. Nah, kemudian untuk instant tracking yang tadi, nah ini contohnya misalkan kita mau ada pengajuan untuk klaim petty cash. Nah, itu kita mau tahu nih sekarang lagi di posisi mana. Nah, di sini kita bisa lihat, oh sudah di-approve sama koordinatornya. Kalau kita lihat apa sih yang di-approve-nya. Nah, ini kita bisa klik di sini. Nah, ini jadi sudah di-approve oleh koordinator. Ini untuk permintaan penggantian PC. Nah, koordinatornya bilang udah diperiksa dan nggak bisa diperbaiki. Nah, kemudian bisa juga kita lihat masih ada pending. Nah, di sini masih ada pending approval dari Pak Alan. Nah, ini sih contohnya untuk Nintex Form. For the next,
Vini, mau tanya
yes,
dulu,
ya,
boleh ya? Nah,
ya,
tadi Vini demoin di komputer ya, di PC. Nah, bisa nggak mungkin next time ya demonya, cuma bisa bilang aja bisa atau enggak gitu. Kita pakai mobile phone application form gitu.
Ya, bisa sih dari Nintex juga sudah ada bawaan untuk yang versi mobile app. Jadi nanti waktu kita desain formnya, kita bisa pilih untuk, oh yang ini mau bisa untuk di mobile app-nya Nintex juga. Bisa
Iya.
seperti itu.
Bagusnya manfaatnya pakai mobile phone application adalah kan biasanya mobile phone tuh dibawa kemana-mana kan. Saya yakin di setiap teman-teman kita sekalian yang hadir ini semuanya keluar rumah pasti bawanya mobile phone kan, udah pasti nggak mungkin ketinggalan mobile phone-nya kan biasanya. Nah, jadi kalau form itu bisa diakses melalui mobile phone application, maka sangat-sangat praktikal dan juga bisa langsung snapshot kamera gitu ya, misalnya dokumennya, misalnya ada receipt-nya di sini gitu, terus kita bisa langsung snapshot gitu kan. Terus udah gitu GPS location juga bisa di-tick gitu kan di situ. Lebih praktikal lah, lebih sangat-sangat praktikal. Tapi kita bisa lakukan juga. Ya, oke. Silakan Vini.
Ya, dari saya itu saja. Now, Mr. Ranjit will give more recommendation about best practice digital form usage. Mr. Ranjit is solution engineer from Nintex. Mr. Ranjit, please.
Just to give you a bit of
Thank you,
background
Vinny.
on Ranjit, so Ranjit used to work for the SI company. So he was facing a lot of customers, a lot of difficult customers also, not just all the simple smart customers. We also have a lot of difficult customer that ask a lot of things about how you can build the form. Sometimes in the meeting you have a kind of a tension, I don't think it's practical to do it like that, but so the customer insists they want to do it like that, right? For example, so maybe you, Ranjit, you can tell some of your crazy stories about your experience
Yes.
dealing with the difficult customers.
Sure. Thank you, Andy and Vinny. Let me share my screen so that I can show some reference when I'm discussing. So let's take an example of this form, right, Andy? Now, since you said what are the best practices, I think I can go on and on.
Yeah.
But since we have very limited time, I will focus only for key important points, right? Now, if you see this form, Andy, what is your first reaction? What do you think of?
My first reaction is like, how come the tab on the top is like so many?
Okay.
Right? Can you do more? Can you do 20? No, I'm just kidding. Right? I think 2 or 3 is good enough, Like
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Great. So in fact, sorry, go ahead, Andy. You were saying something.
Anything else wrong with this form, do you think?
Actually, the one that stand out, the 10 tab in the top.
Yeah.
And then the other.
And actually, the tab title is meaningless. First, second, fourth, third, right? What's the point of having that? It's not. It doesn't actually tell you anything.
Yep.
I know it's the one is first, the second is 2. I know.
Exactly. So this exactly what happens, when we are talking to customers. What they don't really understand is when you are converting from a manual form to digital form, it cannot be a sheer copy paste. Now, as you can see on the screen, the first top is exactly what you mentioned. If the tab is not meaningful, there is no point giving a tab. I rather just give a number there. Secondly, there are notes which says, please write in block letters only. Of course, you're not going to write over here, so it doesn't make sense of putting these notes over here. Use only blue ink to fill the form. These are the things which we really need to understand, that when you're converting into digital, it cannot be a sheer lift and shift. It needs to be well thought of. We need to understand what is really important, and only that needs to go into digital form,
Can
right?
you talk in
So,
blue or no?
no, right? So if you look at it now let me explain, how I can make this form better. Now, see, first and foremost, what I see over here is this is an access request form of an existing employee, right? So the company should have all my details. Now, every single time I need to request for an access, if I have to put my name over here, if I have to put my department, if I have to put my email address, it doesn't make sense. Rather, I think if I put my email ID, the rest should automatically populate, or there should be a unique identifier for me. Secondly, these things which what says over here, like write block letters and all, doesn't make sense. For office use only, save environment, do not print. It just doesn't make sense when you are going to have a digital form, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how easy it is to make some changes in Nintex Workflow Cloud and upload the form in no time. Let's say, for example, if this was a very super complex workflow system, you have to raise a change request, you have to get the technical experts, you need to go through UAT testing and so on, right? But since it is Nintex Workflow Cloud, I'll just come here, I'll go to configure pages. Instead of horizontal, I'll make it vertical. At least, yes, the titles need to change, but at least it is well readable. I know what is written over there. Secondly, I'm just going to remove this because it doesn't make any sense. I'm just going to click on apply changes and I'll publish the form, right? Once I publish the form, you will see that when I go back to my form in no time, the changes would be automatically updated. The tabs have been converted from the vertical to horizontal so that at least I can read it well. Instead of typing in all the details, I'm just going to select my employee ID and all other details would be automatically populated. I am also going to take a note that, I'm going to enter all the details that is necessary. So let's say, for example, if I refresh the form, and this is a very important detail that you need to capture without filling in the information. If I'm clicking on next, it will throw me an error that this is the mandatory field. Usually what happens in manual form is, they will submit you a manual form. Then you realize the information is wrong, then you just cross it, then they again print a new paper and they submit you a new form. There's a lot of hassle which keeps going on and on. Secondly, the major benefit of an digital form is you should not show the data what is not needed, right? In this case, I would like to get the feedback of the users who are filling in the form, but I have not given any link for entering the feedback, right? So I'm going to ask here, do you want to give feedback from your registered phone? If I say yes, only then a QR code populates, which tells me I need to scan this to give a feedback. So these are some of the basic, probably best practices that we need to do. A, the design should be very intuitive, very easy to understand without even giving any training. When a user comes into the form, the title, the page header, the details should be very clear enough for them to know what needs to be filled in. Two, validation is very, very important. A form without a validation is as good as a no form, because if you are going to accept it and then again going to send back the details are not right, you're just going to waste time. The process automation would not really help, because we are automating with the sheer motto to reduce the time to process that particular process, right? That's one. And number three, you should only display the information that is needed. So let's say, for example, if you tell me I need to make this form even better, what I could do is I can just give one field over here, employee ID. I don't even have to show these things because we all know employee ID is very unique, and I can totally do away with this particular tab. So instead of 9 tabs, I may possibly have just 8 tabs, you know, things like that. So it is very essential, instead of just doing a lift and shift, going through the form, making sure what is the idea for that particular form, putting things together, optimizing it, and then converting into a digital form. So you had given me only 3 minutes, Andy. So that was a very quick one. We could always discuss more if we have more questions in Q&A.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you,
That's
Ranjit.
all.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ranjit. Now we will go to the Q&A session. If you have any question, please leave it at our chat box. Jadi kita sudah masuk ke sesi tanya jawab. Kalau misalnya Bapak Ibu ada pertanyaan, bisa dimasukkan di chat box kita. Actually, we already have a question. The first one is this digital document always need e-signature? If not needed e-signature, how is the method to ensure that our document or process is already approved by the right people? And then how to ensure that the document don't have any changes. Jadi ini ada pertanyaan, kalau misalnya dokumen digital ini perlu nggak sih digital sign? Nah, biasanya sih kita kembalikan ke pengguna, apakah membutuhkan digital signature atau enggak. Jadi kalau misalnya butuh digital signature yang ada sertifikatnya, kita menggunakan Nintex sign, tapi kalau misalnya nggak butuh yang ada sertifikat, kita biasanya pakai gambar aja sih, kita coret-coret. Ada juga pilihan kotak yang drawing di Nintex form, atau bisa juga berdasarkan yang lazy approval. Nah, itu juga ada unique ID-nya. Mungkin dari Pak Ranjit atau Pak Andi mau menambahkan untuk yang digital signature, is the digital signature needed in every digital document? Okay.
So maybe if I can just elaborate to what Bhuvini said, right? So let me share my screen again. Now the question was, how do you ensure that the right person is taking action on the form? What happens is, when you assign a task to a particular form, right, it is assigned to a particular user, and only that user is able to take an action on the form. It will not be available for anyone other than that particular user, right? So electronic signatures are needed only if it is a legally bounded form where you need to have some sort of contract that holds true in the court. Otherwise, let's say, for example, if you just want a simple signature, we could even have a signature block like this, which in the form, you will be able to capture the signature itself, right? Now, let's say the second part of the question was, how do we ensure that people are not making any changes to the form? In Nintex Workflow Cloud, it's very simple. All that you need to do is just come here and make this particular field as read-only is equal to true. Once you do that, whenever this form is sent to a particular person, they will not be able to make any changes. It will only be displayed and they will not be able to do anything on the form. So we can very well ensure that the form is not tampered. It has been responded by the correct respondee only. And also signatures are not always needed unless and until it is a business requirement to have electronic signature.
Thank you, Mr. Ranjit. Actually, we only have that one question. Mungkin hari ini topiknya cukup jelas sehingga mudah dimengerti. Sambil menunggu, ya.
Teman-teman, jangan malu-malu teman-teman untuk nanya. Mumpung kita masih ada waktu juga gitu.
Iya, mungkin sambil menunggu saya summary-kan lagi. Jadi untuk 5 manfaat dari penggunaan digital form, yang pertama bisa diakses di mana saja, remote access. Kemudian hemat waktu dan biaya, saving time and cost. Lalu yang ketiga, minimize error juga karena ada validasi. Kemudian as Mr. Ranjit show earlier, we can make the field read-only so the next person cannot edit it. And then instant tracking itu yang keempat, jadi memudahkan untuk tracking, oh prosesnya sudah sampai mana, nah kemudian siapa yang harus kita follow up. dan environment friendly. Nah, sedangkan untuk best practice yang dari Mr. Ranjit tentang flow form, yang pertama, design must be easy to understand. Jadi ketika mendesain form, kita harus buat user yang baru pertama kali melihatnya langsung paham, oh dia harus isi kolom yang mana. Nah, kemudian validasi, jadi dengan adanya validasi akan meminimalkan error juga dari user yang menginput data, kemudian hanya menampilkan informasi yang dibutuhkan. So when we display only the information that needed to be filled, the user didn't confuse about what data they need to input. Oke, kita ada pertanyaan untuk pricing. Mungkin ini nanti kita discuss lebih detail,
Mungkin
tapi
ya, high level dulu kali ya. Nggak usah angkanya, tapi secara structure gimana gitu ya. Nggak apa kan.
Oke. Jadi untuk pricing-nya biasanya kita per workflow, terus minimal paket 10 workflow. Ini untuk yang versi cloud.
Iya, jadi pricing-nya per 10 workflow. Nah, form-nya dapat 50 form. Jadi biasanya beli workflow-nya berapa, dikali 5. Itu jumlah form yang didapat. Tapi Nintex ini kan kita tadi saya udah gambarkan, kita ada RPA, ada workflow, ada form, ada document automation. Nah, dengan beli 10 workflow itu udah mencakup ada document automation juga, dan juga ada form juga, ada dapat mobile application. Jadi dengan harga yang nanti kemudian misalnya minta quote dari MI, itu udah dapat semuanya. Nggak cuma beli form doang, nggak cuma beli workflow doang gitu. Udah menjadi satu kesatuan bundle. Dan kalau ada pertanyaan lagi dari Pak Robi ya, gimana perhitungan licensing-nya per user atau per dokumen? Kita per workflow, jadi per proses workflow, nggak peduli usernya berapa. Makin banyak usernya, itu maka makin murah harganya, ya kan? Jadi karena kalau misalnya harganya 10.000, kalau ada 100 orang ya 10.000 dibagi 100 kan per usernya kan. Kalau misalnya 10.000 harganya dibagi 10.000 orang, berarti kan cuma $1, kira-kira gitu. Kalau ada company yang 100.000 orang, ya lebih murah lagi gitu. Oke.
Kita ada pertanyaan lagi. Apa kompetitor terberat dari Nintex? Lalu apa keunggulan dan kekurangan Nintex dibanding kompetitor? So the question, who is the Nintex competitor? And then how is Nintex positioning their product with this competitor? Why Nintex is better than the competitor?
Ya, sebenarnya dari sisi saya sebagai Nintex itu company yang terkomplit menurut saya dari segi produknya. Nah, kalau ngomongin when we talk about competitor, we have so many competitors because we have so many different products. So when we talk about RPA, then we have the RPA product that is competing with us. When we have form, we have another form product that compete with us. Jadi kalau bisa dibilang itu kita kompetitornya banyak dan ya ada plus minusnya of course ya gitu. Kasih contoh lah, misalnya yang mau contohnya apa Pak? Karena kalau misalnya kita ngomongin 9 produk kan 9 topik yang kita bakal ngomongin gitu ya. Jadi mungkin Pak Kurdin ya bisa kasih tahu saya mungkin 1 atau 2 produk lah gitu. Nanti I will let Ranjit to answer how to how to compare the 2 products.
Yeah.
Maybe we can start with the workflow lah, Ranjit. What do you think is our value proposition compared to other products in the market, which is our competitor?
Sure. So maybe I'll share my screen again just for the reference, right?
And Pak Kurdin have another question. From Microsoft product, is there any RPA?
Yes, so they have something called as Power Automate Desktop. But okay, so let me put it in this way, right? As Andy mentioned, we have a complete automation platform which starts from your process mapping, then goes to your form builder, workflow builder, data-driven workflows like document generation. We have a native electronic signature. We have an very tightly integrated RPA along with the BPM. And then we have analytics, which helps you to optimize the entire process. If you ask me who is an apple to apple comparison, quite honestly, we really don't have a competitor who gives all of these features in one single offering itself, right? But having said that, yes, in form, we have separate form builders. For workflow, we have workflow builders. For RPA, we have other RPA and so on. Now, what is the value prop that Nintex brings on the table, right? The first and foremost, what we have is the tight integration. Let's say, for example, uh, you're going to use a workflow automation tool from Pega or maybe Appian or Power Automate, Power Apps or whatever that is, right? Now, let's say for example, there is an invoice processing form. In that, whenever you receive an invoice, you need to enter the details, you need to upload the invoice, and then the process starts, right? Now, in this particular case, the BPM or Nintex Workflow Cloud will come only after the data is added into the system. There is a dependency on a human being to upload that data. But what we can do is from the Nintex Workflow Cloud itself, we can have an RPA. So RPA can continuously read your mailbox based on the rules that you've set that, if the subject is this, if the attachment is invoice, RPA can use our OCR control, extract the information and directly trigger a workflow for you, which will allow you to, immediately trigger and have that process being started without wasting any time. That's one point of time. Secondly, now there are many products in the market who give you a form builder and workflow builder. But there are some limitations like the forms cannot be published for anonymous use. Only the active users will be able, or the users in the active directory will be able to use the form. In Nintex, you just need to come and click on this particular button here called anyone with the form URL. After I click this URL, and if I publish the form, even if I send you the details, you will be able to access the form. I can show it right away. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on publish, right? Once I publish, the URL is generated and that particular URL, it also gives you an embedded code. That means, let's say, for example, you have an application today, which is intranet portal, knowledge management system, or your corporate site. You could embed the form in your portal itself. So that gives you a major benefit. And I'm just going to give this example by putting in the link in the chat itself. I will also open in the incognito window the form, which was an internal usage form. With just one button click, I was able to convert it into an anonymous form. And the entire information is passed on to your system very securely. So, if you ask me one-on-one comparison, we do have a lot of customers who are using tools like, which cannot do this. And they're using Nintex also with that tool. Because for such requirements, which cannot be done with those tools, they use Nintex. And, with that, you will be able to bring in more automation. Now, one last example, what I would like to give you is a lot of tools in the market, they give you connectors, right? Now, let's say if your organization is using one of those connectors, it is well and good. But let's say, for example, if your organization is using a different enterprise application, which is not there in their connector list, you will not be able to automate. But in Nintex, that's not the case. We give you tons of connectors out of the box. Even SQL on-premise is straight out of the box connector with zero additional cost apart from the license. But let's say, for example, if you don't find the application which you're using over here, then you can always connect to that application using our web service action. Even if this is not there, you could even go back to Nintex and create your own custom connector. So let's say, for example, I was working with some company and they were using an AI product. I cannot name the product here because of the non-disclosure agreement, but they were using that AI product and we don't have the connector for that particular AI product, right? So I've created this custom connector over here, which can be very easily created using the open API specification. that is the Swagger technology. Once I create a connector, let's say if I want to use this in my workflow, going forward, whatever workflow I create, I will be able to use that connector directly and I will be able to use in my workflow. So what we bring on the table or what is our unique value proposition is the scalability option that we give you, that using which you will be able to connect to almost anything and everything in the world and just bring in automation into your application. One more last point, Winnie, if you would allow me. Now, what we also have is we have Nintex Developer API, right? In the interest of time, I will not be able to show more details on this, but if interested, you could always get back to Winnie and team and we could always have a separate session. But what we have over here is we have all the APIs that you may possibly want to use within your application. So there was this customer of ours who was using Slack, right, in their organization. They didn't want to come to Nintex, but they said, I want all the power of Nintex in my Slack. So what they have done is using our developer API, they have completely automated a process within the Slack itself. They enter the details in the Slack. Slack triggers the workflow. If they want to approve a task that is pending for their action, they use Slack to do the approval. Now, this organization was using Slack. You may be using Microsoft Teams. You may be using an Android app. You may be using an iOS app. All of these can integrate with Nintex very easily using our developer API. So that's the key value prop that we bring in: the scalability, the ease of use. And you have seen me building the form. It's just about dragging and dropping. It's a pure citizen development tool. So you need zero technical background to build a form or to build a workflow in Nintex Workflow Cloud.
Actually,
That's all.
Rajiv,
Yeah.
we have another question which is very, very in line with your explanation just now. The question is that how you integrate with the Office 365. Maybe you can show the audience like how you integrate with,
Sure.
maybe any part of the Microsoft product module, right?
Sure. So let me
Yeah.
give you a live example over here. I will just go quickly to my SharePoint site. Now with Office 365, right, you can integrate with tons of application. When I say tons, we have direct connectors for OneDrive. We have direct connectors for Microsoft Teams. We have direct connector for Dynamics. We have direct connectors for SharePoint Online and SharePoint on premises as well. Right now, for SharePoint Online alone, you can see I have roughly, I think, 30 plus connectors, which you can do a whole lot of things like creating a site, creating a folder. And let's say if this is not enough, we've also given you a connector to call a SharePoint web service. So you can do anything and everything that is possible in the SharePoint web service. Let's take a very simple example. I have some details in the form. If I go over here, I am going to create a very simple form. I will pull in just two texts for now so that we have time to see the things. So I am collecting first name and last name, right? And I want this data to go into my SharePoint Online. What I need to do is, let's say, for example, this is my SharePoint Online site called Employee Onboarding. I need the data to come in here. All I need to do is just drag and drop, create an item, right? Once I drag and drop, create an item, let me remove that. Once I drag and drop, create an item, it will ask me, where do you want to push this data? So for that, I'm just going to select the connection to my SharePoint Online. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the URL over here and paste it here. Once I copy and paste it here, it will retrieve all the lists that are available in that SharePoint Online site. Now, in my case, the data has to go to employee onboarding, right? Because that is the name of the list over here, employee onboarding. Now I need to enter the first name and last name. So what it does is, as soon as I select a list, it will show me all the columns that are available in this particular list, like job title, department, manager, and so on. Now, in my case, I have two columns, that is first name and last name. So I'm just going to select these two. So I have it over here. Now, I need to enter the details I've captured in the form into this particular column, right? I just need to click on Insert, go to Start Event, Form Variables, and just click on Insert over here. That's it. To enter the first name, I just need to click on first name over here. That's it. That's it. With this 1 minute step, you have created an integration with your SharePoint Online, which is your Office 365 environment. Similarly, you can add files into OneDrive. You can send Teams notification. You can create a team so you can completely automate. In our organization, if we are working on a tender, the moment Andy will upload the requirement into Salesforce, it will automatically connect to Nintex Workflow Cloud, and Nintex Workflow Cloud will automatically create a Teams, and then that Teams I'm automatically added into it, and it gives me a deadline that I need to complete this tender within so and so date. So entire thing can be automated, and you can completely remove human intervention.
Ranjit, do you think Nintex Workflow Cloud can call the Flow, Microsoft Flow?
Yeah.
And vice versa?
Can you mean coexist, right? Yes, it can. So what happens is a lot of our customers are doing that. We totally understand that you are spending a fortune in your Office 365 licenses. So you have some sort of licenses, which is fair enough. But you've seen how the form can be designed, right? If you have a very complicated form, it is very difficult, right? It's not so straightforward. So what our customers do is they use Nintex Workflow Cloud for complicated forms. Let me show you an example how. Let's say, for example, I have a PDF, right? This is what my business has given me and told me that I need to digitize this particular form. I'm sure in all your organization, you would have seen some kind of a manual form like this. In Nintex Workflow Cloud, all you have to do is just go to start with PDF, import the PDF, select the PDF that you want to convert into a form, and with one button click, we can convert this entire PDF into a digital form. So that's the ease that we are talking about. That's it, the form is converted. We also have a bit of artificial intelligence tool in it. So, gender over here is a text box, whereas gender over here is a drop down, and Nintex has already put the obvious value inside the drop down for you, right? Does that mean that you need to live with whatever is converted? No. Now let's say house number is a text box, but you want to capture only number over here. You just need to click on convert to number, click over here, and this is converted to a number. Do we need to convert the entire PDF? The answer is no. Let's say, for example, you don't want the entire form, you just want a portion of the form. You can change to include selection and just select the fields that you want in the form. You click in form, finish form designer, and the form is ready. You can further customize it. You can move around. You can put validation. You can put rules. And that is how easily you can do it. Now, another example, Andy. Now, see in Office 365, right? Whatever you put, you need to have a valid login ID to access that form. Let's say, for example, you have vendors, you have contractors, you have external users who are not part of your system. You need to add them as guest user. But in Nintex, you can simply, mark this form for anyone with a form URL to use, and they will be able to access the form. Similarly, you can even assign a task and you can bring them in the approval cycle, and they will be able to take action without even logging into their portal. So it can definitely coexist. A lot of our customers are successfully doing that. They have complex ones, or they have, let's say, for example, yours is a very secured environment. You have a SharePoint on premise. You cannot expose that SharePoint on premise to cloud. So what customers do is they use our workflow cloud to get the data, and then they will use the SharePoint on-prem connectors to move that data to their SharePoint on premises without paying any extra license fee for connecting to their applications in on-premise. So yes, there are a lot of benefits, and a lot of them are using them for that as well.
So we can conclude Nintex platform offer a complete solution that give the user flexibility to connect to other platforms.
Yeah.
I think that is the last question. We will wait for several minutes. Sambil menunggu, mohon bantuan untuk Bapak Ibu mengisi form pada kolom chat. Maybe I will talk again about the current experience about digital form. Yesterday I just got my vaccine booster and then I register it using digital form. So I just come in at the time that I register, and then I only wait around 15 minutes before getting the shot. So it's really helped us in our daily life. I think there is no more question. So I will close the webinar. This is the end of our webinar. Thank you for all the speakers and participants. We apologize for any mistakes in this webinar, and please fill our feedback form to help us improve our next webinar. Ini adalah akhir dari webinar kita. Terima kasih kepada para pembicara dan peserta. Kami mohon maaf untuk hal-hal yang kurang berkenan. Mohon bantuan juga untuk mengisi feedback form, dan sampai jumpa di webinar selanjutnya.
Oke, thank you, Vini.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Ali. Thank
Terima
you, Mr.
kasih.
Ali.